Over the last few weeks and months, we have been growing our fruit, vegetables and flowers without chemicals and without disturbing the soil, except sometimes perhaps to transplant things, big and small. But the clear results are we have an abundance of flowers and also vegetables. I also actively increase the biodiversity to encourage things like these guys into the garden. But as the natural way of the world is with wildlife, it encourages predators. And it's causing me a bit of an issue in the vegetable garden. Now this is a good example. This is a hole, and we have another one just here, and there we've got the dog, and his shadow is appearing. Let's see if I can get that a bit clearer. There you go. There's two holes here. Now inside those holes, very difficult to see, you might see that one a little bit better. They're full of leaves at the moment, but the whole area is covered with these. They're everywhere, and they start off as being created by mice or voles, but as we can see from these guys, they've got leaves in there, so they're not being used at the minute, and I don't think that the moles stay there for very long. There's another one just here. They get in and then they get out, and then other animals take their place, and I've found toads in these, and I've found lizards dive in there when they're being chased by the dog or the cat. So that is becoming a bit of an issue in the vegetable patch, and we need to address it. Now this is a good example of the type of soil that I've got here, and as we get close up to it, you can see it's quite sandy, but it's also very hard. And my theory was that these animals, when they create these holes, the structure stays in place and doesn't fall through. And so my theory was, would they do the same thing in the no-dig beds? Because the compost is very loose. Even if you stand on it, it doesn't compact down. If you're a regular viewer to the channel, you may recall a film I did a while ago now about increasing my biodiversity, because I was keen to get more wildlife into the space. And this is one of the areas that I filmed at the time. It's died back down now again because of the end of the season, if you want, and I've cut it down to regenerate it to grow again next year. But with that increase in biodiversity comes predators. Each animal has a predator. It's part of the natural cycle, and it's potentially becoming a bit of a problem to me here, and we're now going to go and have a look at that. Okay, so we're in a no-dig bed, and these same animals are actually able to make these holes that we've just been talking of. Now the consequence of that is that they're then coming out of these spaces and starting to eat the carrots. Now it's only taken that one there, but it's also come across to this one and taken the leaf from that. I mean, it's debatable as to whether or not it's going to damage the plant itself, but it's not a good sign. So I do have animals coming in. There's another one there. So by increasing your soil life, you're going to increase the predation of other animals within it. It's part of the life cycle. I'm actually looking down there at that carrot. We'll pull that in a minute, and we'll just see how bad that is. Well, it's had a little bit of a nibble on the side there. The other one next to it is okay, but obviously it's food for the animals that are coming in. Now this is a larger hole, and this is with the carrots in the bed where I've been working recently with the tomatoes and the fennel. But nothing here seems to have been chewed, but I've got another one there. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter whether it's no dig beds with compost. There you go, there's the bird's nest fungi there, but another hole. So the soil is healthy and is attracting things to come in and live and also eat. I'm in the main carrot bed here, and I've just seen quite a large lizard running around. So there's food in this bed for the lizard, wouldn't be there otherwise. But birds predate the lizards, and as we know, it's a natural thing. But going back to what's below us and the soil life, I know I've got healthy soil because it's attracting another thing that's creating a bit of a nuisance, and it's these guys here. And no doubt you've seen them all before. I'm getting more and more molehills coming through. I'm not having too many going into the vegetable patches themselves, but as we're looking down here, they're beginning to get a little bit closer. There's a good example. Now we've got these molehills everywhere now, but like I say, not in the veg patches at the moment, but they're getting close. Some people collect this soil and reuse it around the garden. I don't tend to do that because I don't want to be spreading more weed seeds, because it's a similar principle to digging, except it's the mole doing it, not me. Generally speaking, looking at the cabbages here and the kale in the distance, I've had very little pest damage on the plants themselves. The calabrese are still producing little florets, and the kohlrabies over there are very much ready to be harvested. So I can see that I've got a lot of wildlife coming in and looking for something to eat. I've got a dog doing the same. So now's the time to start getting this stuff out of the ground. A, it's ready, and B, I don't want it being damaged any more than it needs to, so I want to protect the harvest. And here's another good example of the moles. They're getting very close to the veggie patch, but it is an indicator that there's food here for them. And so I've been able, over the last 3 years, to regenerate the soil and create a habitat not only for the soil life below, but also the wildlife above. So now I need to get on and start harvesting what I can and what's ready, and we'll take a look at the results. So I've been harvesting the kohlrabies, and I'm just showing you this just to give you a bit of a look at the actual root structure. So I pulled him straight out of the ground, and it's come up with a little bit of the sawdust that we had in there, but the root structure itself is very healthy. Very shallow, but pretty healthy. And there's one of them. Okay, so we've got the trusty wheelbarrow, and as I come out to the shot, you can see I've got a fair size. I've got a fair amount. They're all different sizes. There you go, there's me holding it with my hand. I've got some smaller ones there, and these have all been produced in the no-dig beds using the principles I've already explained in a video on how to do it and how it can change your life. And they've all had the same amount of compost, the same amount of sawdust. It's been made exactly the same. They've all been treated exactly the same. So we've got some good sized ones there, and we come across to here, and we've got one there, and then we've got these two. Now I've left my rose cutters or secateurs on there to give you an idea of the size of these two guys here. And there's my hand, just to show you. And then again, as we look at the root structure, very healthy and very pleasing to see. Now these roots have been working hard. They've been trading with the life in the soil by trading the sugars that the plant produces in exchange for nutrients from the bacteria that want the sugar to continue to survive. Now the thing with this is that I'm going to get all these processed now, and I'm going to freeze them straight away, because then I can freeze all that sugar that's contained within this root. So the taste that we will get from these will be completely different to anything that we buy in the stores that have been sat around for way too long. So what I'll do now is I'll get these prepped and frozen. We'll weigh the final result after peeling and all that kind of nonsense, get rid of any waste that we might have, and we'll have the final result. And we'll see what it is. See if you can guess before we get to the next frame. Well, we seem to be harvesting quite a bit of stuff at the minute, including potatoes. But that's for an upcoming video. There's very interesting results. Total weight 10.9 kilos. So they've all been frozen, which we can use as and when we need to throughout the winter. But that's a great result, and we've still got a few left in the ground yet to harvest. So later on in the year we will have running totals of everything that we've grown. If you want to know how well we've done, like I've said before, click the logo and you can join the channel and you can follow us on our journey. For now, take care. Catch you soon.